to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. I hope everybody's having a nice summer. Almost into August, 1 month to go, and then school starts. So, those in Bayville been pretty busy lately. It's, I think with the Lost Walk 30-year anniversary advertising on Channel 12, some of the restaurants they're doing pretty well. So it's nice to see. It's nice to see Bayville crowded again. So with that, we'll get started. So, Maria's on vacation, and Peter's out tonight. He called it. He got a family function. So, Chris, you want to get started?
Sure. So the first item is public hearing for proposed local law C-2026. I'll read the public notice. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held before and by the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Bayville, Nassau County, New York, at the Bayville Village Hall, 34 School Street, Bayville, in said village, on Monday, July 27, 2026, at 6:30 p.m. Let the record show it's 6:34 p.m. The hearing will be on whether to enact proposed local law C-2026 to amend Chapter 13, Building Construction Administration, Section 12-19, Penalties for Offenses of the Code of the Village of Bayville. A copy of proposed local law C-2026 is on file at the Village Hall at the above address, where it may be reviewed during normal business hours until the time of the hearing. The proposed local law is also available for review at https://bayvilleny.gov. All persons interested will be heard at the above time and place by order of the Board of Trustees. Maria Alfano Hardy, Village Clerk Treasurer. Notice dated and published July 9th, 2026. We have affidavits of posting and publication on file for inspection. I'll turn it over to you, Mayor.
Peter, you want to make any comments about the
only comment I need to make is that
it's just a couple of additions to
right,
it.
this proposed local law was suggested to be adopted by our prosecutor because in connection with some zoning violations that he had to deal with, he recommended that the law be changed so that ownership by trusts of property would also be responsible under the law. And as a consequence, he wanted to make sure that the language be clarified so that anyone that has dominion or control over a building is considered to have occupied it. So that's really the only change that we're making to the law. And if people have comments about it, they can make them, I guess. And if comments, we can consider that. I have a proposed resolution in the event that you wish to adopt.
Anybody in the public want to have any comments about it?
Okay.
I'm fine with it.
So I'm going to propose a resolution for adoption.
Do I have a motion to close the hearing?
I make a motion.
Okay, Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova?
Yes.
Trustee P. Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Rowe?
Yes.
Okay. I would recommend that the board adopt the following resolution. Whereas the Board of Trustees on June 22, 2026 introduced proposed local law C-2026 to amend Chapter 13 entitled Building Construction and Administration, Section 1319, Penalties for Offenses. Therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees declares itself as the lead agency under the State Environmental Quality Review Act in connection with the adoption of said local law. Further resolved that this board deems the adoption of such local law as a Type 2 action that will not have an adverse effect on the environment. And further resolved that all appropriate notices and approvals required for the enactment of said local law have been properly made and given as required by law. And further resolved that proposed local law C 2026 be adopted as local law number 3 of the year 2026. And the same is hereby enacted by the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Bayville as follows. And I would suggest that a copy of the actual law be annexed to the minutes of the meeting.
Do I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santora?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Rupp?
Yes.
So next item on the agenda is site plan hearing for 16 Ludlow Avenue. I'll read the public notice. Notice is hereby given that the Board of Trustees of the Incorporated Village of Bayville will hold a public hearing at the Village Hall, 34 School Street, Bayville, New York, 11709, on Monday, July 27th, 2026, at 6:35 p.m. Let the record show it's 6:38 p.m. to consider the following. Case number BOT-SPA-1-26, applicant 16 Ludlow Group LLC, James Serafino. The applicant, pursuant to the provisions of section 80-67.6C of the Code of the Village of Bayville, seeks Board of Trustees approval to use and make improvements to premises located at 16 Ludlow Avenue, Bayville, New York, located in the business district, for the storage of antique classic cars. The subject property is known on the land and tax maps of Nassau County, Section 29, Block G, Lot 236. A copy of the application filed at the office of the village clerk may be reviewed before the time of the hearing. By order of the Board of Trustees, Maria Alfano Hardy, Village Clerk Treasurer. The notice is dated and published July 11th, 2026. We have affidavits of publication and posting on file for inspection. Turn it over to Mayor Rupp.
Mr. Serafino, you want to have your attorney and his board to make the presentation? Okay. Just got to state your name and address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. My name is Vincent M. Girardi. I am an attorney. I'm of counsel to the law office of Gerald J. Associates. I'm here tonight on behalf of the applicant, 16 Ludlow Group LLC and James Serafino. We are here to seek the change of use for the premises known as 16 Ludlow Avenue for the storage of antique and classic cars. This use will be, we feel this use will be a benefit to the village. It will be attractive, and it will be a use that will not interfere with any of the other businesses or other individuals in the community. It certainly will be an improvement, we feel, over a vacant store. No parking will be taken. If any of the cars have to be moved, we plan to have a ramp to bring the cars in and out. We will not park any of the cars outside, and no parking spots will be removed from the village. The premises will also be decorative and attractive, and certainly be a benefit to the community. I feel that it's within the keeping and comprehensive plan and within the character of the business district of Bayville. And if you have any questions, I'm certainly open.
So you don't have any plans to touch the sidewalk there, right? That's
No.
one of the store. You don't have any plans to 5 spots of parking. You don't plan on taking any of those?
We have no plans to do anything.
Do you have a picture of like the facade that you're proposing or anything?
I think it's part of the site plan. By your name.
Say like a rendering of what it looked like. I didn't see any, like.
Yes, it is Exhibit 3 and also Exhibit 4 at the top of Exhibit 4. Now, the only thing that will be changed on the premises is the widening of the doors so that vehicles could be moved in and out on occasion when the owner wishes to take them to a show or something like that. But other than that, they will remain stationary within the premises. They will be stored within the premises.
You only have one set of doors open.
Is there any signage that's proposed, or?
Hasn't been determined yet.
And there are no plans for the cars to be open to the public, something like a museum type situation where the public? can
There is not. It's for private use. My name is Gerald J. Socio. I'm also the attorney for James Serafino, who unfortunately could not be here today. We learned of this about 2 weeks ago, and he had a long-standing plan B overseas. So he's actually out of the country. Otherwise, he would be here with us.
How about lighting? How's that controlled? You know?
There are no specific plans for it yet, but whatever the village needs according to code, we're fine with.
When does he take, I realize that the cars go to car shows, or I assume just car shows or whatever. Like, what time of day, is there more of a specific time of day that they're removed and brought back? That may impede on the,
I certainly don't believe that it will impede in the business community. It will be, very early in the morning when they would be moved to
Or
a
even in the
shop.
evening, whenever the opportunity.
it says during off hours, so
Yeah,
like.
they're only moved about a half a dozen times a year, brought to competitions. They're not cars that he drives about on a regular basis.
From the list that you see.
They're transported in car transports, brought to competitions, and into
And I
insurance.
saw you said there's no gasoline stored.
Not on a regular basis.
And no work would be
Not
performed
with
on
our
those.
county insurance.
Would the glass be changed so it's frosted, or is it?
We talked about that. Whatever is most attractive, we talked about that. It might be more attractive to leave it as glass so folks can look in and see them, but we would work with the building inspector on that, whatever he wants us to do.
And I just had a question on the doors. Right now, the doors are set back from the front. There's honestly, I don't remember how much, like 5 feet worth, or like a step.
Extended.
Is it gonna stay that way, or bring the doors flush to the,
I have to look at the
Yeah.
plans.
It looks like it's flush.
It looks like
This
it's.
one.
it looks flush, yeah.
So to answer, this is our architect.
And then, and also then flush with the doors when they open, they're opening out into the sidewalk.
Yes, Andrew Kaplan, architect, Worcester Bay Drafting, 68 West Main Street, Worcester Bay. Currently, the way that the building is arranged, the doors are like in a reverse bay setup where it's a recessed set of doors. To make it as much space for the vehicles to get in and out, we would make those doors flush to the building. And also, for the sake of ease for vehicle transport, having those doors open out towards the street. But functionally, those would probably be locked and closed and only accessed by the owner at any given time. They only really interfere with the sidewalk at the time of transition of cars. Besides that, I don't think it's gonna have any impact with any pedestrian use.
Do we know how many shows he does, and what's the average for the, how many car shows?
About a half a dozen a year.
Where are they stored now, if you don't mind me asking?
Actually, I don't know.
Okay.
From what I understand, I think they are staffed.
Are these all personal cars or his personal cars?
Yes, they are.
He owns all of them?
Yes, that's correct.
They're very high-end, rare collector vehicles.
I know this may be difficult to answer because we may not have the answer unless you speak to the person. But can you see what the beneficial use to Bayville would be to the village? Other than occupying an already vacant space, is there any benefit to the village whatsoever?
Well, I think the benefit would be that, and the fact that it's not a high-intensity use that's gonna deter the village. There isn't gonna be a large number, there aren't gonna be anybody going in and out of that location. So I don't know what other business might be there. So being a village resident, I know that space has been empty for decades. So an advantage would be, low intensity use of a vacant building that's now productive. I guess that's the best way.
It would not be a retail space, whereas as if, you know, like when it was a hardware store or a retail store, there are people going in and out of there every day.
Right.
There's traffic there, there's all kinds of different things happening around the retail store.
I would say
That
that
is
as a
I
drawback.
actually like that.
Yeah, I mean, with a village with such a small commercial footprint, the businesses have a hard time attracting people,
Yeah.
you know, to
Say
visit
a
them.
lot.
And taking away a commercial space with virtually no benefit to the residents.
Maybe it would be attractive with the cars in the window. And again, I can only say, nobody's been in there for 20 years.
Understood.
It's not likely somebody else is gonna go in there.
It's a similar situation to how 21st century cycles were for Oyster Bay.
Yeah,
That,
but that was
Yeah, but
open
that's
to the
village
public.
owned.
no, yes. But also, I've been working at Oyster Bay Grafton for upwards of 15 years. I've never seen a soul go in that building before me left.
I've been in there
I did.
multiple times.
Yeah.
Both my kids love going in there. I think
Oh, yeah.
I think you're going in the opposite direction, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I went in there several times as well.
I have a question. If we change this to.
Roger, state your name and address.
Ron Marchand, 1 Oak Point Drive. If it changes to automotive storage and he moves out in 10 years, can it be used now as a mechanic shop almost?
It's a good
Because
question.
we're gonna fight the argument that, well, it was automotive storage, why can't we work on our cars now? So if you do decide to approve this, put some kind of, you know,
Yeah, I don't have a
agreement,
problem with that kind of condition on it, because we're never gonna use it as that.
just to protect, yeah, so.
We're asking for a use for storage, we're not asking for a use for work, or painting, or auto body, or anything else like that.
But that opens the next step if you guys sell.
Ron, Peter, can you explain the difference between doing a change of zones, and I'm thinking maybe a special use permit would be more appropriate, or
Right, which,
Well, what you have here under the code is that, and this I've spoken with Mr. Socio about, the code does allow what we call theaters and storage rooms. If you look at our uses. And it also has certain restrictions as to whether or not you can have what we call public garage. That needs a special exemption from the Board of Trustees. So in this particular case, it sort of it fits and it doesn't fit. That's what I'm trying to say. And I do believe that this use is a use that's compatible with the business district as you read the code and the requirements of it as to uses. And as someone just mentioned, you can have any kind of retail use in the store.
But wouldn't this be private use and not commercial use then, if he's just
Well,
storing his cars?
Yeah, but normally if you have a private use of something, it doesn't say you have to use it. Right now, it's zoned the way it's zoned.
Right.
And there isn't anything, in my opinion, that prevents it from being used for the kind of use that they propose. Because it does fit into that category 8 under the section of the uses. It says theaters and storage rooms. It doesn't say what storage rooms should be. But we do have the building inspector who properly called out the fact that there's a difference. It could have involved concerning parking and changes to the situation that we had. Now, you may recall in the past, we had a good number of complaints, especially from the former trustee, who used to complain about the parking on Loveland Avenue. And of course, this, in my opinion, would reduce that to a great degree.
didn't the previous owner store art in that?
I
Jen,
don't
do you
know.
remember, I thought the owner that your client bought it from,
Yeah, I think
stored
so.
art?
You did.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't know what was used.
Will anyone be working on that in this site, like, or security,
No.
or no? No one will be?
it's just the storage. And as Mr. Weil pointed out, the ordinance right now states that that area can be used for, it's a little incongruous, but the ordinance says it can be used for theaters and storage. Why theaters and storage are in the same sentence?
That doesn't make.
No idea, but that's exactly what we
Because
propose.
it
That was
used to be
adopted
there.
way
Is that
back.
private?
What?
There used to be
Commercial,
here.
back in the 30s.
A theater?
Yep.
In Bayville.
I believe Mill Creek used to be
Okay.
a dinner there.
Yeah.
A dinner here to take. I'm not that old. It's
No,
very
it's like,
like.
yeah.
There's no differential between private use storage or commercial use, even though it's a
I don't believe
commercial
so.
property?
I don't believe so.
We have to look at the definition of storage.
Because, you know, when they interpret zoning codes, they interpret them, in a manner which is allowing the thing to be used, what it says.
Right, and that's why I brought up the prior owner, because I believe he was storing art.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so,
But my point that I brought up, a special use permit versus a change of use, if we had to go that route.
Yeah.
Special use permit would be for that particular owner.
I don't know whether there's really a change in use permit asked for. I mean, you can construe it that way, if you wish, but I don't think that the change of use requirement would be appropriate. That's my opinion.
Or necessary.
Or
Not
necessary.
necessary, right.
What happens to the tax?
I'm sure you've done your homework and checked the building out.
They were gonna try to make it.
That building structurally for a couple of years is pretty bad shape, especially with roofs. So,
It's a change last time.
Yeah, he's inspected it.
Based on the zoning
Working on
chapter.
whatever we have to do to make it safe and work with the restaurant in that regard. Whatever the village wants us to do to that building, whether it's the facade, the interior, the lighting, Mr. Serafino is more than willing to do all of it and make it as attractive as possible. So it's not what they thought we did.
It might draw attention to, people walking in town, businesses.
That's what I think.
You have the lights on in the showroom, people looking at the cars.
That's what I think.
But what
It
is it?
appears we have a pretty large audience tonight. I'm assuming most of it is because of this. Does anybody else want to comment? No.
Yeah, great.
My name's Annette Rosted, I'm at 21 Jackson Avenue. And I was just trying to wrap my mind around opening and closing those doors. I don't believe right now there's anything to stop people from parking overnight in those spots, in those areas. So what kind of notification goes to people if you're planning on moving the cars out? You're gonna have to have 3 more spaces opened up. And who knows who's parked there and what building they're from or where they are in the neighborhood. They could be there overnight. So I'm just trying to wrap my mind around the logistics of letting people know you gotta move cars, or you're suddenly gonna have an issue with, people getting called early in the morning or getting towed or anything like that.
And on that point, is a truck usually coming to load all the cars, or is one car to, because I think that's the
Right.
thing, it might be off hours, but off hours could be restaurant hours. Do you have a big truck there going to
There-
load on the cars?
I couldn't answer the question as to whether they all go at the same time. Certainly, he can pick and choose. He knows when he's going to move again to an event. So he knows weeks in advance, so he can pick when the spaces are open. We're not anticipating pulling people. We're not anticipating making people move their cars. I'm confident that over a period of time, he knows 2 weeks in advance, he's taking it, he'll get a space. And I've also been told, he doesn't need 3 or 4 spaces. These are cars, one spot, and the car can go. Yes.
right now there's 5 spaces. How
Yes,
many,
there are.
when you,
One,
one
So
space
one
out
is
of
to-
5? That's
yeah.
good.
The one in front of the doors.
Only one spot? Oh.
There's
They
a
could drive.
there's an elevation view on our packet that shows a garage door. That's currently there, but that door is gonna be removed.
These are very high-end cars.
It's not there no more.
It looks like it was there, but it's definitely not there anymore. But there is a tree and an island that protrudes out from there. Will that be removed?
I believe that's all gonna stay remaining existing.
So then how is the garage door?
No, that garage door doesn't exist.
Oh, it's not going?
No.
Okay. Because
The only access point is going to be those double doors where they are currently.
I only ask because it's on the elevation. It says new garage where previous garage was located.
You might be looking at one of the altering schemes at
Yeah,
one point?
this is, I'm sorry, this is what it is. So this has no garage here.
I don't have it.
This was in here.
Section
I did
4.
see that, that was
Yeah,
on a
so
previous.
this
He had the old one.
Would you be averse to putting a garage door there instead of doors that open up to the side?
No, but that's in the way of,
Wouldn't that be more
No, no, no.
intrusive as far as the aesthetics of the building?
that, see, that was, this is
Where
showing the
was it
garage
at?
door here. See this?
Oh, yeah.
So this is better.
Okay, so this is no.
That's where, yeah, this is
Where that
better.
is.
I mean, the five spaces now are pretty tight, so I would say at least you gotta take up 2 out of 5 spaces. Especially when they're called in, you know, if they're 18 classic cars. I was down there today at like, I don't know, 11:50 a.m. all 5 spaces.
Yeah, they're all things, I live in the village, I drive past it twice a day, every day. I know the parking situation here.
And then with Schultz's and all the other restaurants, Mill Creek, it's packed from like 5
Well, you
o'clock.
would know not to try to move cars on a weekend, certainly, when all the businesses are in full swing. I've been to Schultz's, I've been to Mill Creek, I know what the village looks like. But these are things that can easily work around.
Minorly off topic, I'm very accustomed to dealing with the convention circuit for like Star Trek conventions and stuff like that as a vendor. I know months in advance my scheduling and how to get things in and out of my own house and how to get things kind of set up properly. I am sure if he has an event, let's say on a Thursday or a Saturday, more than likely that car has to go out days in advance, and that might be like at 10 o'clock at night or something, so there's no one around, or at a time point so early in the morning that the cars might be able to transition. It's a logistical situation, but it's something that can be easily rectified just knowing how everyone works and also doing it at a time period where it would be advantageous to get a car out of Bayville and Long Island and possibly even New York City without having to deal with possibly injuring the car you're on transport. So it's kind of a multi-matrix situation.
Would a stipulation of time of day or day of the week that he can move cars in and out be acceptable?
Possibly, I mean, that's something I had discussed with them.
I think the bigger problem, I'm sorry, Peter, is how do you stop the residents from parking,
Yeah.
some who might park overnight?
Yeah, then we can't move the car.
May I make a suggestion? I think this is good to have a hearing and let everyone say what they need to say, but maybe what we ought to do is to have the board defer a decision and wait until the owner of the building, the one who collects all the cars, can answer a lot of these questions.
Okay.
Will that work okay? Because
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to get done tonight. but-
I realize you would, but I mean, basically, your client isn't here to answer a lot of these
Okay.
questions, and I think it's a lot better to have those facts known.
Fair enough.
Because this board's gonna have to make a decision as to whether they want to condition any approval that they might be willing to give.
Yeah, and things I
And that
can't
way,
answer.
you can, I think another question to raise tonight, that you will be able to get that information to the village,
Okay.
maybe before the next meeting.
When does the board meet again?
The last week of August.
So, the last Monday of August.
There's another board.
There's one more question.
The fourth Monday, yeah, the fourth Monday. Right.
24th.
No.
Just want to come up, just state the name and your address.
Todd Kennedy, 28 Jackson Avenue. Last time I was deferment, I didn't get the opportunity to come again and voice my opinion, so I just want to make sure that it's expressed now and that the board and the mayor hear it. Okay? In my opinion, we should be voting no on this proposal. This design is for the few and not the many. The downtown village area is meant for foot traffic and pedestrian shopping, restaurants, stuff of that nature. In my opinion, I live right next to it, and I have an appreciation for it. Now, I realize there's a lot of people that come into that downtown area right now, but those businesses are thriving and things are going very well for them. I think we need more of it, not less. I gotta believe that the people who own this building can come up with better ideas than making an antique car storage facility. Okay, so, okay, so we'll stop there for the moment. More, sorry. If I were being asked to vote, I would be voting for the people, what's best for the people of the village, and not the few who are asking for this benefit. Having a garage is not in the design community space. The village is very small. You should be thinking on those terms, right? Having an antique car, business, at the end of the day, really belongs in places where you can get to the highway, places where you can put a vehicle where you can on board and take cars off, right? I promise you that I walk the streets in that area all the time. And the amount of traffic that comes through Bayville Avenue onto Loveland and the other way around is tremendous. There is so many cars. Where I'm walking the dog this morning, and there's just a massive line of cars leaving Bayville for work.
I go the other way on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, right? So, lastly, let's see. So if you were onboarding or offloading the truck at that time, I mean, it would just be creating crazy amounts of problems, I think, in that area. And I don't see any benefit to the people of the village. I think it's the wrong spot. I truly do. So, thank you.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we table it, come back next month to Serafino, and we'll discuss it amongst ourselves over the course of the next couple of weeks. Get everybody's ideas down on the table and their feelings. And what we can be next month.
Okay, thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn the hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Do you wish to continue the hearing until the next trustees meeting?
Yes.
I think that's a good
So the
idea.
hearing will be continued. The hearing will be continued at the next trustees meeting, which is going to be the fourth Monday of August. 6:30.
Yep.
Most likely to be here.
Thank you very much.
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
Okay, trustee Walsh? Yes. Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova? Yes. Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Okay. Ready? Okay, the next item on the agenda is the warrants and claims. Do I have a motion to approve them as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo? Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Next, we have the prior meeting's minutes. Do I have a motion to adopt them as presented?
Yes, I make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova? Yes. Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Lo?
Yes.
Next is... Next is a motion to approve the request of St. Gertrude's Preschool to hold their end-of-year picnic at West Harbor Beach on June 2nd, 2027, with a rain date of June 4th, 2027.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh? Yes. Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Rupp?
Yes.
Next, we have Do I have a motion to authorize the mayor to sign and execute an intermunicipal cooperation agreement between the Village of Bayville and Locust Valley Central School District, effective for the period July 1st, 2026 to June 30th, 2027, for the shared municipal services of emergency sheltering, emergency response, heavy equipment loan and operation, snow and ice removal, and emergency fuel supply?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh?
Yes.
Trustee Santoro?
Yes.
Trustee Tucker?
Yes.
Trustee Genova?
Yes.
Trustee Di Bartolomeo?
Yes.
Mayor Rupp?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is the change order for the Creek Beach Marina dredging project. Do I have a motion to approve the following final change order for waterside contracting related to the dredging project at Creek Beach Marina?
Can I ask what the change orders are?
Yeah, Ron, you gotta state the name.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Ron Marshon, 1 Oak Point Drive, West Bayville.
I can explain. I don't have the dollar figures directly in front of me. Thank you. So the change order consists of the following additional costs. It's an additional material quantity cost, so we dredged above the material contract value that we set. So that's $65,856.
How many more cubic yards?
Divide that by 168. There is a change order or a cost for the quality of the material because it was more mud than the original testing showed. That's $71,089. And then there is an additional cost for the West Harbor storage site that we developed and rehabbed after the project was over. That's $116,797.29. And there's an extra cost for adding pilings on all the finger docks. That's $11,200. The eastward expansion instead of a westward expansion that we had originally had in the contract, that's $36,934. The additional gravel that was placed in the parking lot for $30,375. And then additional pilings for the eastward expansion versus the westward expansion of $5,600.
What was the last amount?
$5,600. So that totals $337,851.
So, what would the total cost of the project come out to with that amount?
It's $2.1 million.
So, I was up here in April. I've been on the voting committee 10 years, 12 years, a long time, with Ed, Frank Martochu, who is trying to get here. We denied putting this out 2 years ago and 3 years ago because we were coming in close to $1 million. And we felt it could be done cheaper. We even found a contractor that could do it cheaper, but he didn't have the proper insurance. When it changed hands at the beginning of the end of last year when the project was going, we were kind of left out of the loop. And it was at $1.6, $1.7 million. When we put it out to bid, the way the job was structured was it was supposed to be offloaded on all the dredge material, put on barges, and dumped in Long Island Sound. That's what we put the RFP for. That's what it was bid for. The contractor that came in, and with Mika's knowledge, I'm pretty sure, decided to change to trucking it out. It's going to be easier. It's going to go quicker. Well, and I thought it would be cheaper. Cheaper, definitely not. Quicker, definitely not. And these extras are something he should have figured out, because we allowed him to store the stuff at West Harbor Beach for $116,000. He had to bring in more gravel for $30,000,
there's 146,000. The 65,800, I question if he took out more material, because I've gone down there and measured. I met the engineers down there, and I'm not an engineer, but I had a stick, it's supposed to be 6 feet. I had an 8-foot stick, and at low tide, I dropped it in, and 7 feet was still out. So it wasn't 6 feet deep. In areas, it was 18 inches.
We have two different systems of measurement that show exactly how much material was removed. One of them is the disposal site that weighed the trucks as they went in, and the second is a survey which volumetrically calculates the amount of material removed. Both of them are within 10% of each other, and they both show that more material was removed than was planned.
Is that the guy from Oregon that did the sounders?
He's a surveyor, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, what they took out, they dug out half the parking lot when they were taking material
That
out.
material is not included in the total.
Well, then somewhere.
And how do we, when you goes into a truck and you're digging it out, how they separate what's what? If you take a handful of dirt and you put it in a cup, how do you know what's what?
The survey volumetric calculation, which shows the area that we propose to be dredged, right? They show the pre-volume, the pre-dredge volume, and the post-dredge volume. That calculation shows a 10%, less than 10% variation from what the number was that was brought to the disposal site. So
all right, so give them the 65 and the 71, which I don't even believe you should give them the 71 because it wasn't the type of mud. He was able to sample it.
The village provided a sample report and a test report that our previous, I guess engineers we can call them, had developed and sent out with the RFP. That sampling report said it was a 60% sand aggregate mix. What actually was there was less than 5% sand. So that is not the contractor's fault. That is the sample report that we provided with the RFP.
So that's
The original plan.
That's 65 and 71. He's asking for $330,000. And was any of this approved prior to this point now?
Yes.
Who approved it?
It went through the normal course when we discussed the project. It went through
And
the mayor.
everyone here voted on it?
It went through the mayor and the proper channels for project management. Our engineer approved these processes to take place.
Well,
And we
the
kept moving the
engineers,
project
is that Leroy?
Leroy? Yes.
Which came in at the 11th hour, charged us $75,000 and used half the old paperwork. So that was,
He did not come in at the 11th hour.
when did he come in?
Before the RFP went out. He rewrote the entire RFP.
Yeah,
Because
but
the
this project has been going on for 7 years. Paul knows, I think it was started when he was in office the first time, then it went to Bob DiNatale, and then Steve Minigosi.
Yeah, I put the RFP out twice with the voting committee.
So,
One time we got one bid.
and you feel
And you failed to
this bill should be paid?
Absolutely.
Well, I'm amazed, and you're wasting our taxpayer dollars approving this bill.
I understand your opinion. The marina is functional right now.
At low tide, it's barely. And the 116,000, did you get a breakdown for that, for West Harbor storage?
Yes, we have a breakdown down to the cement block used.
But we allowed him to do that. If it all went on a barge, none of this would be
Do you
here.
know the price of diesel on the water right now?
I want to ask a
So-
question on that. Can you explain
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
you're about to
So
explain?
the way you can move dredged material out of the creek is through the bridge, right? You have to find a dump scow or a barge that fits through the bridge.
Which we know. That's why we put it off, because we had somebody 3 years ago, but the bridge was only half
Who
operating.
doesn't carry the proper insurance because his dump scows aren't registered for dumping in the Western Long Island Sound. So there's a lot of moving parts that go along with this. To get a dump scow into the creek, you have to do it on a tidal schedule, right? The size of the dump scow plus the tidal schedule to move it in and out of the creek with the low tide in the western part of the creek where we're dredging means we can only dredge a quarter of the amount of material in the time that the dredge permit exists. Because you have to move it on the dredge cycles, and you can't have more barges than exist in the Western Long Island Sound to move the material. There was no physical way we could get enough material removed to complete the project in our permitted dredge window, which is December 1st to January 1st.
Which you didn't make that time frame anyway.
We got an extension through the Army Corps of Engineers and the DEC to January 14th. That's the only extension they could grant.
They needed the Ed Bartel, 18 Godfrey Avenue,
So
part of the voting committee. And the reason he got that, needed that extension, because half of his equipment got frozen in the ground and couldn't move product.
I want to finish your explanation because I'm getting to, I think you're getting to the cost, what it would cost to go out into the sound versus this.
right. So the cost of moving by tugboat and barge, with the cost of diesel on the water, and the cost of the amount of tugboats he would need to move the number of dump scows that he needed to move the dredge material, the cost proposal he gave us when we signed the contract was more expensive than trucking. So we went with the more reasonable option, which was the trucking option, based on the price per cubic yard.
And it would have been more than with this extra.
There's no way to tell right now.
I think we got a couple.
We also lost a gate. We lost there's no gravel. He didn't put any gravel back what was there. We now have mud and puddles in there.
And we have an erosion problem.
And our sweeper had to be fixed because he spent so much time picking up the mud that his trucks were dropping that he should have washed off his trucks before they moved.
I think we should be back charging him instead of paying an extra of $300,000. It's insanity. And I think anyone that votes yes for this is not watching our taxpayer dollar at all. At $2.1 million.
Yes, but it sounds as if I wasn't involved in the project directly, but it sounds as though that's what they were doing, is watching how we spent the tax dollars' money by switching to the trucking versus bringing out.
It wasn't cheaper, and the guy wasn't.
I would like to know what material facts you have to show that trucking was not cheaper than scows.
We don't have material facts right now, but we were involved for 10 years getting bids and planning on it, and then this guy comes in. Watching him, I don't think he had very much experience in a project like this. And now to get a $330,000 extra is insanity. It absolutely blows my mind. And I absolutely do not think anyone should vote for this.
Can you explain with the extra dots, the piece expansion?
Sure. So the RFP that was provided by the voting committee at the start of this process showed an expansion to the west.
No.
Yes, it did.
No, it showed an expansion to the east. He used the old plans from us. We had an original expansion to the west, and that was denied by the DEC, and then we went to the east. And when he redid the plan, Lilo redid the plans, they used the plans from our old engineers, and they took the old plans and submitted them.
I'm happy to show you the RFP that we released when I first became a trustee 2 years ago. That RFP showed a westward expansion, and I had nothing to do with that project. And that was when Dr. Jim and Dr. Abrams were part of the project. That RFP showed a westward expansion,
Which was
with
denied by the
DEC permits and Army Corps permits to the west. That is what the information that we had. That is what the village had on file as our current permits. To the right. Those were the RFPs that we used and we provided to Lero when they started to take on the project engineering. They used those permits, which were on file with the DEC and the Army Corps, to develop the RFP. That's the RFP that was sent out, which was to the westward expansion. We only found out that those permits for the eastward expansion were, the westward expansion were commented on by Fish and Wildlife Service when we went to, after we had signed a contract and Frank Martocci said, this is a westward expansion, I thought we were going east. That's the only time we found out. And even then, the DEC and the Army Corps did not have that permit on file. We had to modify the permit to show an eastward expansion instead of westward. And then we revised the RFP with an eastward expansion. And that's the reason for the change order extra costs that are $36,934 for the docks and $5,600 for the pilings.
And what was, Mike Riley paid and by who?
I don't know those numbers off the top of my head. I believe it came out of, I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm not sure.
Oh,
It was not part of these numbers, though.
and what about the gate that has disappeared and the blacktop leading up to the ramp that was completely destroyed by his machines?
It'll be part of the rehab process this off-season.
But that's something else that
Come out of
the village is gonna pay for. I mean, when a contractor works on your house and he screws something up, do you just say, all right, I'm gonna pay you anyway?
The gate was removed as part of an agreement with the voting committee. We posed.
No.
We agreed to have it put back.
We said
Frank and I talked about it on the site, and he said he'd look for a security guard if the gate couldn't go back. Which
And
he
we
sent
did.
us, he sent us pricing for a security guard.
Yes, 3
And-
proposals.
3 proposals, which we now have to go out for public RFP because they're over a threshold.
well, by
So-
the time that the season.
That was why the gate was removed and not put back.
If the gate was put back, we wouldn't have to need a security guard at
So
$30,000.
I understand that. That was a question I posed to him. And so did Steve.
Well, let's charge the contractor for the price of letting the thing back.
I mean, the contractor should have paid for cleaning the streets every day because he was trucking the dirt around, cleaning the broken street sweeper, the ramp, it's damaged, it's not, it was part of the job. And where he dug out for the barge is all eroded now. And he dug it out, I understand why he did it, but he should have backfilled something so it's not pulling the parking lot. Like, right, within a year, the parking lot's gonna start eroding out, and it's gonna be another village problem that taxpayers have
So
to pay.
we still hold this performance bond. We can call the bond and we can get it back here to fix the issues if they arise.
But they're arising already, and we're gonna approve another
So
$330,000.
this is the first time I've heard of the parking lot issue.
You haven't been down there?
Been down there to observe it. The village has looked at the parking lot. We put stuff at the edge to prevent some erosion. If there's a concern about it in the winter, we can certainly address it.
Like I said, I don't think, I can see this is going nowhere, but anyone that votes for this, when I, what? When I,
The problem is, we're up against the wall, and I'm just bringing it up because we took it off the table last month, because I didn't want to approve something that I didn't know the facts on. And Michael was busy, so we tabled it for this month to have some additional discussions.
I think, listen, the voting committee was not, for the most part, we were left in the dark, which I never understood why, because we were involved for 11 years. But that's, Mr. Trustee Tucker took on the whole project pretty much solo. So, we had 2 meetings, right? One in January and one at the docks, and one in your
We've done it
office.
several times, and when we measured, and we came up with 2 feet in some areas, 1 foot in other areas. Just looked at us like, but that's how they measured it, and it's good.
And when I questioned the engineer, because we did meet with the
Okay.
engineer, he told me the mean average, and I'm not an engineer, don't claim to be one, the mean average low water mark could be taken from anywhere. His exact words, it could be taken out of the sound. So I called 3 other engineers and questioned them. One of them spent a lot of time on the phone with me. And he said, no, when you're doing a project like this, the mean low water mark is where you're taking the measurements from. He said, and anyone telling you it's to be taken from the sound, I don't know what to tell you.
I was standing next to him when he told you that. He
Yes.
did not say it can be taken from anywhere. He said the mean low water mark is not a measurable line that you can see in the air. He said it's not something you can put a stick to. It is something that is kept on a,
Listen, I know what it is now, because he explained. You have the tides, and every day the tide's a little different. So you take the mean low
it's
tide.
the 100-year average of low tides.
Right. But the mean low tide from there should still be, not from somewhere else.
That's what it's measured against. When the surveyor comes to measure, he measures the depth of the water versus the mean low water.
So, like I said, you know,
So there's 6 feet from under the docks, from the water down to the thing. There's
If
6
you
feet
go-
of-
if you go to
of
this-
the mean water tide.
If you go to the survey and measure the depths that are shown on the survey, they should match what is there to the mean low water mark.
well,
You cannot say that at low tide, the top of the water surface is mean low water.
no, there's if you follow the tie charts, there's +1, +0.1. So I went down 12 different nights, and I never even came close in certain areas. And granted, my method is, it's stick with the measurements on it. And I know going out at low tide, I'm on the inside, I'm picking up dirt sometimes. A lot of times at low tide.
I mean, it's supposed to be 6 feet, and at times it's 1 foot. That's a big difference. That's a 5 foot difference. I could see if it was 5 foot, 4 or 8, not 5 foot difference.
I think we overpaid this gentleman. I think we're being raked over the coals for the final last time, and I think it's a colossal waste of taxpayer money to pay another $330,000.
All right,
So, thank you.
We make the payment with conditions of them doing the performance.
So you're equal to.
Okay, so we can for everything that have you, has the voting committee made a list of your concerns of the gate, of the ramp, of the?
No.
Over time,
Yes, it's come up, but
we haven't, we'll put
we
something
never
in
wrote it
writing.
down. I mean, it's been
I know it's been mentioned, but
Absolutely, we will get it.
just because if we're gonna go to the performance bond, they're gonna wanna know what you're looking at. So you're looking at the ramp, the gate.
ramp,
Why
gravel.
go to the performance bond? Now you're gonna fight with the insurance company
Because-
instead of just holding the money back.
Because the village, I believe.
We're under
100%
contract
under
to pay
contract.
their fees.
Well, I could,
But
If
we're holding
we
the
hold his
performance
performance
bond.
bond, he can't do another project because he can't get another bond. So he is an
Pretty
excellent
sure you need to
contract.
put him on notice about the performance bond, you just don't hold it and.
We've already discussed it with him. He knows we're holding it.
I mean, I could see you paying them for certain things, but not all of it. I could see you paying them for the posts, you know, the poles. I could see you paying for the docks, you know. Kind of see.
65 divided by 168, I
I
didn't
know, it was
figure out what
one.
that was.
So if you could just get
Mr.
us.
Clausen,
Just that and
Yeah,
then.
Mr.
the
Clausen,
village
you got to-
has to
you have a
repair
question?
it.
Yeah, Charles Garcia, 242 Bayville Avenue. I don't believe the job is complete. I mean, they've reduced the size of the pier for the extended area, and there's no power to the majority of those slips.
Well, that wasn't,
That's not-
that wasn't part of.
Power is not part of that project. It was an addition that was planned to be done this winter. And the size of the dock is relegated by the Army Corps of Engineers and the DEC on a shade area calculation. And that was part of the engineer's plans from, I think it was 2016. That it's a 4-foot dock instead of a 6-foot dock.
So the 65,800 divided by 168 cubic yards is $390 a cubic yard.
It's $168 per cubic yard, so it's 390 cubic yards.
So it's less than 400 cubic yards more.
Yeah.
I mean,
There you go.
and the 71,000, how did you come up with that price?
That is from receipts by the disposal site.
And what is that, what is the 71,000?
It's additional costs for the quality of the material that we took there. Because they can't stack it and pile it, they had to create pens for it, just like.
And this was his actual cost?
He gave us direct costs from the disposal site. There was no markup and no charges from him.
And what was his original, like, if we were paying $10 to dispose of it and they charged him 20, I mean, what was his original? Do you
I
know?
believe it was a $21 per cubic yard additional cost. I think that's what that adds up to.
And the West Harbor storage, I understand the blocks. I have 80 of them in my yard. What's 116,000?
It was the blocks, the trucking,
The trucking in and out.
and the cleaning of the lot after.
This is, I mean, he chose to use that lot.
We gave him the option so we can continue with the project. If we didn't use the West Harbor storage site, the dredging would have been done on December 15th, and that would have been that. We would have paid for mobilization, and
And
docks.
sued him for not performing his contract.
We could not have, because we provided him with the information that showed the quality of the material we expected, and what came up was not what we provided.
When was those samples done?
As one moves forward, when the sample's done.
When were the samples?
2016, I believe.
So we waited 10 years, you said? 2016?
That was the last set that.
I mean, if we hired new engineers and we had other engineers, no one decided in 10 years things might have changed. I mean, we should look at the engineers. I mean, listen, I have a problem with the taxpayers getting screwed on this whole thing. That's my problem. I'm here for the community.
Understood.
You know, and I feel like you're here for the contractor.
No,
You're not here for the community. That's how I'm reading this.
I am here to try and get the project done for the village, and we did everything we could to get the project done. So the marina was open, and we reactivated 6 spaces that were previously high and dry and low tide. They are now reactivated with active with boats in them, and we added 21 additional slips. 22 additional slips.
Absolutely. And of course, the $2.1 million that we're going to be paying for many years at a high interest rate. So
it's not a high interest rate, but I understand your concern, and I certainly understand that.
And I don't feel that, I don't feel we got our money for it as a citizen of Bayville.
Understood.
And somebody that's been very involved in this project for many, many years.
But I believe the issue is Nicole, Rupp was saying that we're up against the wall to have to pay the contractor. Is that correct?
Yeah, the payment's overdue, so, according to the payment terms that are in the contract.
So there's no term in the contract saying if he doesn't perform properly, that we can withhold payments?
That's the performance bond.
No, I understand, I know what a performance bond is,
That's
but
where the contract is structured, is so that to reduce the cost of holding money back, we went with a performance bond, so we didn't.
how much is the performance bond for?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
What? I mean, if the performance bond is only 200,000.
It's not, it was significant with respect to the value of the contract. I don't remember what it was for the other. I can get you those numbers and email them to you.
I would.
All right, so why don't you get us a list of the things that you need, so we can go back to the contractor and kind of hold him to the fire, and then he'll give you the numbers that you need, and we can at least talk to the board, the committee themselves, since they've been involved for 10 years.
I mean, the $30,000 for gravel,
He scooped it out.
it is crazy because he dug up the gravel when he dumped all this stuff. So like, we're paying him for stuff that was damaged because of him. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry, I'm not,
He could
common sense.
He could have came in first, scraped off all the parking lot, piled it up at the end,
He did
put his
that,
stuff.
actually. We did do that.
Where'd it
That
go?
gravel is in the western part of the parking lot, that we have that part of the parking.
And your pilings for two different amounts, 11.2 and 5,600.
The 11.2 was the additional pilings that we now placed on every single finger on the existing section of the dock. And the 5,600 was the additional pilings that we needed for the east expansion instead of the westward expansion.
Or something happened. Something, we couldn't have pilings?
No,
No,
before,
four.
yeah.
I understand that, but why are the pilings on the new addition, should be all part of the new addition? Should have been new
Because the
addition.
contract was written for the westward expansion, which had 6
Yes,
pilings
but-
instead of the east expansion that had 14.
I'm not gonna go through that. I told you that original RFP was fishing game. I said DEC, but it was the fishing game that canceled that. And we had to do a new one to the west, to the east.
But it was never done.
Yes, it was.
I'm happy to send you the information again, to show you that the RFPs never went out with an eastward expansion.
So when Lilo put this whole thing together, why didn't he come and meet with us, who have been dealing with this for so long? Instead of,
You guys met with him twice.
I've never.
I think we're going nowhere. I'm happy to meet with you
going
outside,
circles.
and we have a regular voting committee meeting like we do. and we can go over all this. I'm happy to provide you with any information that I can to answer your questions.
I'll set up a meeting, you guys give me a date, Bayville, hold me, hopefully, maybe the end of this week. That's fine with me, guys.
So we'll hold the
payment-
wedding?
No, because the payment's due at the end of this, payment's due at the end of this week, by the end of this month.
I mean, I can meet tomorrow night. You good, Ed? Tomorrow.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I'll make my schedule with that.
John Pacifico, 44 Bayville Avenue. I'm just a little confused. How was this project procured?
It was sent out through a public RFP.
And how many responded?
One.
So the one who responded is the one who gave it to me. Did you try procuring it again?
This is the third year in a row we've had one respond.
And you wanna know why? Because the village originally required too much insurance and nobody wanted to bid for it. And then when this gentleman came in, they lowered the insurance rate.
But
Okay,
am
that's-
I incorrect
I'm
to say
sorry.
that our insurance?
I think we need to end this here because we're putting out some false information here. I think it's better said in private, we can review it together specific, I'm happy to.
The meeting you're going to plan to have, is the contractor going to be at that meeting?
Nope.
No, we can invite him if you want to, but it's up to you guys.
I think it would make sense. I mean, most times that happens. If you're going to have a change order submitted, the contractor meets with the committees and they go ahead and they follow up on the change order. They question it and the man gives a reasonable explanation for it. If he can't, then it gets denied.
Do you guys develop a list?
Yeah, we have one, but we'll put a formal one together.
Put a formal one together.
Well, can you do it like within the next 2 days? Something like that?
Yeah.
And then, see if we'll call the contractor, see if we can come. And, we'll see what the contractor, and you guys on the voting committee, and one's on the board here that wants to. Well, so that, I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can make a decision, pay it or not. You have to pay it, I believe, by the 31st, so it's supposed to be paid. Problem is, if we don't pay it, the contractor in all likelihood will probably sue us, sue the village, so, I'm pretty sure that will happen.
But you have due cause not to pay because of the questions that are.
No, I understand.
So he can think that anybody can sue anybody, but unless they have a legitimate reason, they're not going to go anywhere to sue.
I don't think we have due cause to not pay him.
It sounds like you.
I understand that, but he's provided receipts to back up all of the work that he performed. He's provided all the backup information, and our engineer has certified all of his payment requests.
And that's fine, but all receipts are negotiable. I mean, even the receipts that this man gets from who he's getting, somebody can put down $2 million, it doesn't mean you're going to be responsible
Understood.
and pay for it. It's a negotiable item.
Let's hold off the payment until the 31st, and this week we'll meet, and hopefully,
Have to make motions.
I think the proper way to do it is to send a letter to the contractor saying that you're holding off pending further review.
you guys feel comfortable taking the decision?
I think if we send them communication, they should understand that. You tell them, that's frankly, I don't know what percentage of payments.
No. But we have,
We're not getting to it, someone will tell us.
Listen, I had no idea there was a 300, I thought it was an approval for the final payment, but an extra.
Feel comfortable voting on it?
I'd like to know what comes of the meeting.
I just have one question. If we vote on it and pay for it, and then you meet, and it's agreed that maybe we weren't responsible, we shouldn't be responsible for paying this is what we have this performance bond for? I don't want us to be in default of the contract. That's my concern.
My concern is we have the engineer that we've hired for the project, who has certified the results of the post-dredge survey and provided us with a letter stating the project is complete to the satisfaction of the engineer. I don't know that we can call a performance bond.
Okay.
Is that there in place? I could be wrong.
So if this engineer, I have serious doubts with the measurements. And I don't know why a guy from Oregon did it for Lee Road, that there's no one between here, New York State, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, that are surrounded by water, but we had to bring in somebody from Oregon. That to me is a red flag. But whatever. Maybe we hire an independent engineer to do new soundings, because, do you know, I don't know the engineer, I don't know the contractor. I'm new.
What do you think that
Maybe
would cost?
If that's something you want.
$7,000 to $8,000. I made phone calls today.
How much?
$7,000 to $8,000 roughly. He said he'll get to do new soundings. So you let the contractor know. The board decided we're going to do another round of soundings. We want to check the depths, because many people in the community are worried about it. If it comes out that it's false, well, I think we have bigger problems, like criminal issues. So let him know that's the route we're going, and if he can't wait another 30 days for his money, let him sue us. I've been involved in lawsuits. They don't even start for 30 days.
Right, but the village would have to pay for that. Right?
The village just paid $330,000. If they have to pay 10 grand for a lawyer for a month, what's the big deal?
Here's my concern, and I understand what you're saying, Ron. My concern is that the contract was structured that we were paying per cubic yard that was removed from the creek.
From the creek, but half of it was taken from the parking lot.
I understand what you're saying. So if we're paying per cubic yard of material that was removed, and he's providing receipts to show that the material that was removed was disposed of, and the quantities of the material that were disposed of were within 10% of the quantities that the survey showed, I don't think we can dispute the amount that we're paying.
The 65 and the 71, pay him a portion of, approve tonight to pay him the 65 and the 71. Do not approve the West Harbor. You even want to approve the pilings.
How can we not approve the West Harbor storage site when that was the?
Because
that
he
was the
chose,
one
he
but-
chose to do that.
But,
No, we proposed for him to do that so the project could continue.
right.
And he told you it was going to be $120,000?
He told us there was going to be an additional cost for setting up the storage site and trucking the material.
So it sounds like there would be more extra cost if you had to truck it into this, bring it to the sound.
The
that-
project would have stopped. It would have been over at that point.
The $120,000 to set up a temporary storage facility at West Harbor, you don't think that's excessive?
What parts of that breakdown do you gentlemen agree with?
Honestly,
Agree with
the pilings,
the violence?
what's the eastward expansion? That's the docks? That wasn't part of the original?
No, because there are more docks that we when we went east than there were when we went west.
So, I mean, I would do the pilings, the eastward expansion, the other pilings. I definitely wouldn't be paying $30,000 for gravel. This parking lot, yeah, should have been there. The West Harbor storage I wouldn't pay.
I don't
And if he's
understand.
saying the receipts match up, but I would feel more comfortable, because do you agree that we don't feel the depths were actually met? And I think we need, and if the depths weren't met, listen, anyone can forge AI, you can forge anything these days very easily. I can do it from my phone right now.
And a professional engineer stamping a survey by a licensed surveyor.
Why is he from Oregon?
Because the guy's address is in Oregon. I don't.
Well, a lot of people can be,
But if he came here and surveyed, he flew in from Oregon to survey this, or he
He
used
didn't fly in from Oregon.
satellites?
It's a New York-based survey company called GEI.
The guy who is on it was Oregon.
His personal name and address, yes.
So isn't that where he lives?
Do you have a company?
Yeah.
Okay,
I've
where's
set
the-
8 of them.
What's the address of your company? Is it your home
Westbury,
address?
New York.
Okay, not your home address.
No.
So he has a company and his address is not his home address.
So, but I'm saying, I'm in Westbury, I'm close by.
People have
That makes
Delaware.
no sense, Ron. How many companies are in New York and are domiciled in Delaware? I mean,
So,
you know.
but his stamp is,
And
so, Delaware, because it's the best tax haven there is.
Okay, it's him living, his personal address being Oregon is.
But it's a survey stamp. Survey is usually, I'm surveyed from New York State. I'm survey, I mean, that's what I've
I
always.
think you get the.
First, we'll table it again, we'll call the contractor up tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
All right, do we need a motion for that, or?
No, we have to- Motion for it, no.
We're not voting on it.
You're not voting on it now.
No.
You're gonna hold off.
Yes.
Want to go on the next one?
Okay, so the next item is a motion to accept the Village of Bayville registration statement of advertising materials from Vantage Realty Partners as presented. Which you should have a copy of there. It has 7 items listed.
Somebody wants to speak.
Hello.
Were you allowed to speak? I've never done this before, I'm sorry.
Yes. You gotta state your name.
Okay, hi, my name is David Taylor. I am the co-founder of the YOLO Stroke Foundation and also the team lead for the YOLO Home Team. We are out of Oyster Bay, and we buy and sell homes in Oyster Bay, predominantly in Oyster Bay and Bayville. What we have noticed over the course of the past 1.5 to 2 years is there are a lot of families here in Bayville who are looking to have their family members purchase homes within Bayville. So Bayville families would like for their Bayville families, extended families, to continue to live in Bayville. Bayville is near and dear to our hearts. Through our foundation, we help families who have sick and special needs children. We also hold our galas in Bayville, and we hold our races over the Bayville Bridge and back. So I can tell you that my intentions are true. What I'm hoping to be able to do is promote my open houses, non-branded, to the surrounding neighbors as I'm holding them either Saturdays and or Sundays. And the reason why I'm hoping to be able to do this is because a lot of people in Bayville who might not be proactively looking for a home would be more apt to come to the open house if their families are looking to stay in Bayville. I understand that non-branded for sale signs are what is required here in Bayville, and I do abide by that rule. I am hoping to be able to, again, promote Bayville open houses, non-branded, just to let people know that we're holding them at homes here in Bayville.
So is it just a sign the day of the open house?
So we do non-branded signs the day of the open house as a general practice. But what I'm hoping to do is go around and put door knockers on people's doors of their front door. It's illegal to put things in people's mailboxes. So we do door knockers, and the door knockers would be non-branded.
Why don't you just advertise like every other realtor advertises an open house?
We do.
So why do you have to do this extra step? Because I actually don't like going home and finding things on my door.
Well, some people do and some people don't.
But I think there's a lot of local realtors that
Don't do that.
that don't do that, and it's a small community. We have a lot of local. I know you. I like working with you.
I know.
But I've heard from other local realtors that I don't think that they would look favorable upon this. I don't know.
If you don't mind, the other local realtors have not done it because Bayville does not allow it. It's the same reason why I have not done it. I'm coming and trying to, I've applied to be able to ask permission to be able to do so. And the reason why I'm doing that is because over the course of the past year at least, we have a lot of activity within Bayville, most of which is from families who have other families who want to live within Bayville. And so they're not necessarily looking through MLS. They're not outside of Bayville. And it's the word of mouth. And because I'm not asking you for us to do branded signs, I'm just asking for the day of, if we could do the surrounding blocks and just let other people know that there is a home in the area that's going to be.
Would an open house sign be that same effect that they're doing now?
Well, we do it,
The day of, you said,
we do the day of, yeah.
same with an open house, the day of.
Yes,
I mean, Bayville is not very big. Most people drive through Bayville twice a day to and from work, where if there's an open house on a street that's kind of off Bayville Avenue, you see a sign, open house, such and such street, whatever. I just worry about Bayville being such a tight community and kind of stepping on the toes of local realtors that have offices here, that have worked here for a long time, that live in the community. That's my concern, because that is the feedback that I've heard.
so I would be shocked if one of those realtors haven't come and asked to be able to sell within Bayville. I mean, I'm not living in Bayville. We do assist families in Bayville. We have a lot of ties to Bayville. We are putting up another home in Bayville. We are doing everything we can to support Bayville, including, again, holding our galas and holding our races. We are tied to Bayville. I don't live in Bayville.
Can I ask you just
Yes.
a question? You mentioned that you know that this is not allowed currently. Is there,
Yes.
either, Doug, is there a local law or resolution that does not allow this? That we know of, or code?
I believe to distribute, we have some local laws, I believe, that require a permit to distribute handbills of law.
Correct, and that's the purpose of their registration statement. The village code doesn't permit it as a matter of right, but they can prepare this 7-statement document here and make an application
You know what happened now,
to the
the other
board.
one would say, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I think the.
So I'm a little confused what you want to do. So you want to put non-branded open house signs?
No, door knockers on surrounding homes to let people know that we're holding an open house.
In addition to doing an open house sign, lawn sign?
Yeah, I mean, a lot
Why
of
not
houses,
do a mailing?
well, we do mailings, of course, but you don't do them for open houses. By the time the mailings go out, the homes are sold. To be honest, I mean, some of them don't hardly even make the market. These people in Bayville really want their.
So, well, if it doesn't make the, I mean, then people do know about it, if it's being sold quickly.
I'd like to share,
It's no
from a
reason.
personal standpoint.
Yes.
I have a long family, my in-laws just purchased a property in Bayville. We know which houses are for sale. I think, to be simple, we know the inventory is so low between social media and Zillow, and frankly, I think many residents wouldn't want anyone coming to their door for a solicitation, branded or not, to be honest. But those families where it's within your target market, they know which houses are for sale. They know when the open houses are. I really don't think, frankly, I'm being honest, I think it would be a waste of your time. To go to door, to the neighboring, if you came to my door and told me there's an open house down the street, I would tell you I know. That's just, I'm being honest.
I haven't had, to be honest with you, I wasn't, when I had my first open house, I was not aware that Bayville had this law in place. And I did walk around and here, years later, right, that was 4 years ago. For 4 years, I have been abiding by the law and not putting those signs up. Look, I can tell you that this is something that people have asked. It's not a branded sign. It's not like I'm promoting myself. It's just something that I really think would be helpful. There is something in place. I'm going through the proper procedures. I don't feel like I should just say this is a waste of my time. I've been doing it for 4 years, and I am my intention, and I am rooted here. I know up till this point, I don't live in Bayville, I live in Oyster Bay, but I do a lot of business in Bayville. And I'm asking you all to allow for me to put these door knockers on an hour before I'm holding an open house. Not branded. because I know that you're wrong.
Well, do you think that would be effective though? Because
I do.
if most people might not be home from work. Or-
I
don't know.
absolutely do.
It's not my problem, but, okay.
Okay.
Of course,
And what, so you have an open house at
one,
1 Bridge
one, two,
Road.
Finn.
So how far are you gonna be putting these signs? How,
What's your radius?
and what's your radius?
Right, so, I mean, in my mind, and I am completely open to whatever you all are allowing, but in my mind, I thought 50 to 100 homes surrounding. I mean, a block is, I don't know. Depends on the size of the block.
You don't think the open house sign with arrows?
We don't put our signs on every single block leading up to our open houses, we just don't.
Thinking about you guys
Like,
trying
so
you should,
I
those
see
are
signs
legal.
on Bayville Avenue, say, open house, Finnan, which is all the way down.
Yeah.
No, I only put it on Perry. I put it on Perry, and then Perry and Finn, and lead down to Finn. And Finn,
I think you should
a
increase
lot
that.
of the,
I think you should increase that.
Well,
Because
a
you
lot-
go to 150 homes respectively.
there are
For your
also,
time alone, I think that would be challenging
There-
and ineffective, honestly. We know that houses have an open house. There is no inventory in Bayville. That's all.
You don't feel like direct mailing is just not good enough?
Internet?
well, not for open houses.
I think it gives people advance notice. You put a thing on my door an hour before an open house, chances are I'm not gonna be home and I'm not gonna get that until after the open house is over. I mean, the majority of people aren't sitting at home all day waiting to get a notice of an open house in an hour. I'm just saying from your point of view,
If
your
I thought it
time.
was a waste of my time, I promise you I wouldn't have been sitting back there for this many hours and waited 4 years to come here. I really do believe that this would be helpful, and it is another way of allowing Bayville families to let their extended families be aware.
Also, I'm Julia Potasevich, I'm one of her partners with the Yellow Home Team. Our phone, Julia Potasevich,
Please
spell it, AFANASEWICC. Thank you, it's a long one. The phone number, our phone number, and QR code would be on here. And if you didn't want the QR code, that could come off. With the phone number, so it notifies the families that there's an open house, even if they come home after the open house, they can say, oh, I missed that one, and give us a call. And like, I understand your signs are for sale signs. We're on our second house on Finnan, which there's only 3 houses on Finnan, right? We have our second one going up. What happens when you pass Finnan?
May I
We
see
don't-
that QR code?
Yes.
Can I try it?
It's actually, this one's just a sample. This one's not scannable.
I want to see what it would, but it shows up as something. doesn't
No,
it?
that one's not scannable.
Oh.
This is just a
So what-
sample.
what's
We didn't
gonna-
run them.
What's gonna show up when someone uses
Their
your QR code?
information probably.
Yeah, that
So
would be
that is
information.
branded.
To the open house.
So that is branded.
But we can take that off.
We can take it
This
off.
was just a sample that we did.
I figured you might ask me what it might look like, so I did that, but we can take whatever information you
How
have.
do you feel?
I think just from my perspective, if we approve this permit, it opens up the door to other companies, advertisers, whatnot, to apply to put door knockers and signs and flyers on people's front steps. And I think that detracts from the Village of Bayville's feel and overall sense of a small town, right? Where you're not going to an apartment building and getting, flyers for Domino's on your doorstep every night. And I believe that's why this original, law or code requiring the permit was put in place. I understand your intent, and I think it is an honorable one that you're trying to do more for your clients and let families know in Bayville that houses are for sale around them. I personally just feel that it goes against the intent of that code.
Why can't the mailers actually?
Yeah.
Just mail, just mailing things to people in the neighborhood, you could do that. Is there any reason why you need to do this?
and hang these things outdoors rather than just knowing where there's gonna be an open house and sending a thing out and mail it to the neighbors. So based upon
Sometimes, for example, you're not actually confirmed that there's gonna be an open house until right before, you know, the house is gonna be ready. You go and file your FOIL, you make sure everything's in place. There's a lot to consider, so, you know, sending, mailings, although, you know, obviously we all do, this is just a notification the day of to let people know.
It's a solicitation for service.
Yeah.
Into people's doors. When
Yeah,
Mike just spoke about the feel and the boutiqueness of Bayville that we all are, including you.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate your efforts because real estate jobs are getting harder and harder to get your name. When you go on Zillow, it's hard to even find out who the listing agent is. So I think your efforts should be directed a little bit more high level with respect to the real estate industry.
I've had realtors knock on my door on a Sunday afternoon. My house was listed years ago for sale. When the listing expired or I took it down, like a week or two later, I had a realtor knock on my door on a Sunday afternoon, and not just because I'm Italian, but I just happened to be making sauce and making dinner for my family on a Sunday afternoon. And I was really put off by it. I was really put off by it, and I was aggravated. And my first response to them was, did you even show my house when it was listed? I found it to be intrusive, to be quite honest. Now, if I have my girls home and my kids home, maybe I'm not home, you know, and people come to the door, they might get scared. They might not know who you are. I find it, there's a lot of reasons. And like I go back to, there are local realtors that don't do this, that respect the code and the way things are done in Bayville, and I think that we'd be stepping on their toes. And this is a small community.
And I hope that you understand that I am respecting the code also.
No, we do. And we thank you for coming here, but I'm just
There are
telling you.
people that, my peers, you know, who wouldn't even think about doing this because it's just a guaranteed no. And I just don't believe that. I believe that, you know, if I came here with well-intentioned and just explained to you what the situation was, that maybe you would consider changing your minds.
We appreciate your time and presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, come over, Steve.
I don't know if we have to sign up or. John Delgado, 6 Tides Court. I happened to be walking my dog last week, and it was on Washington Extension on the Bayside. And I ran into one of my neighbors. He stopped me. And he had a very good point. I saw a lot of people there, so I thought I might as well come in and voice my opinion. They just patched that road.
I think we have to close this topic first.
What?
It's not related to this topic.
Okay, so I can't answer.
At
Oh, at the end, that's all, okay. No problem.
Sorry. No, I'm sorry about that.
Not a problem.
Okay.
Alright, so do you advise they vote it down or just don't vote? How should it be?
I believe, you know, they need a permit to distribute these handbills, really, what they are. That's how you understand it too, right? And the question is, on a thing like this, is that this is a commercial operation. They don't fit into one of the exemptions, as I see it.
No.
You see. So if you feel, that you don't want to have handbills handed around that way, you can say, no, we're going to deny the application if you choose to do that.
Is that a motion that has to come from the board?
Yes.
Yeah.
You would deny, so decide. So.
I make a motion that we deny the application to build a home.
I'll second. Okay, trustee Walsh.
No.
Trustee Santoro.
No.
We're voting
Yes.
Or still deny?
To deny,
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'll start again. Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
Okay, on to the next item. It is a quote from GoGo. This is the company that develops and runs the My Bayville app. This is a license renewal for 1 year, and the price has been the same for 3 years in a row. It's a total of $3,598. So do I have a motion to approve the quote from GoGo for their services? Go notify notifications and alerts for citizen engagement for the period of 1/1/2027 to 12/31/2027 for an amount not to exceed $3,598.
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
Okay, next item is, do I have a motion to increase the salary of the building inspector, Doug Roth, to $125,000 annually, effective August 6, 2026?
I make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Oh, he was in part of the,
One of
I think it was 110.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's a yes?
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
The next item is, do I have a motion to set the filing fees and deposits for zoning board applications as outlined in the packet you have?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
Okay, next item is, do I have a motion to appoint Robert B. Cronenberg Esquire as hearing officer for all New York Civil Service Law Section 75 hearings going forward until January 1st, 2027?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
Next item, do I have a motion to approve the request of Mill River Rod and Gun Club to hold their annual Children's Snapper Derby at West Harbor Beach on September 12th, 2026 from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m.?
I second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Excuse me, Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes, sorry.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
I second.
Next item, do I have a motion to approve non-pro-tunc the estimate from North Shore Tree Service to remove 2 locust trees and grind stumps on West Harbor Drive for a total of $2,700?
Make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
And the last item on the agenda, do I have a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the easement agreement with National Grid to replace a section of existing gas main that is located adjacent to the West Shore Road Bridge that is underwater?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Trustee Walsh.
Yes.
Trustee Santoro.
Yes.
Trustee Tucker.
Yes.
Trustee Genova.
Yes.
Trustee DiBartolomeo.
Yes.
Mayor Rupp.
Yes.
And that concludes the items on the agenda.
John,
Yeah, you can have.
you want to raise a question?
Sure, thank you. Good evening, sorry before I knew they had the assignment. So getting back to the roads, you know, where the roads have been getting killed here in Bayville. And my neighbor said to me, he says, well, they just did this little patch over here because they had to drill, they asked for water, I don't know what it was for.
This is, I'm sorry, this was on the Washington Street extension?
The Washington
Right in
Street.
front of my
Right
house.
by your house?
Right in front of my house.
Okay,
Who
so,
did the patch?
It was National
National
Grid.
oh, I don't know who did the patch. I saw the truck down at the
Yeah,
end.
it was that. I
Oh,
think
you live in the
house-
front house in front of that?
Was it
Nice
National
house, I
Grid?
almost bought that one. I didn't get the notice from the neighbor, or I would have bought it.
Sorry, I had
Okay, so, okay, going along those thoughts, you know, we're gonna have to, I just did my road a couple of years ago, it was $37,000, okay? Now, God forbid, you know, LIPA has to come in, or PSE&G, and rip it up, and don't bring it back to the same quality. On private roads here, the gentleman, the Department of Works or whoever should inspect the job to see if it's done good enough to hold up that taxpayers who paid for that road.
Isn't that part of an application process, that if they're bringing in trucks, that they have to?
So are we talking about National Grid here?
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah, so National Grid is a little special, just like other utility companies where they're a public-private partnership with New York State. So most of the times they don't even require any sort of permission or permits from the village. They
I'm not
are-
really asking for a permit, I'm just saying the quality of work that they're doing on those roads, that people that live on private streets here, should be the same quality that was done when they originally put it down. And there should be somebody in town to hold them responsible for that.
That's what you're explaining, the process, right?
But I'm not talking about that. National Grid comes to my thing and rips up, puts a gas line all the way in.
Yeah, I think what Doug's trying to explain is that there is a process for certain things.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you're having an issue with National Grid on a private road, I can give you my contact information. I do have a main contact at National Grid that we can reach out to them. It is a bit of an HOA by HOA basis on those private roads. Some have gravel, some have asphalt, some have different repair standards. And that's not anything that's really overseen or maintained by the village, especially private road infrastructure. But I can certainly put you in contact with the supervisor that is responsible for these things.
Okay.
And I've done that for other residents on private roads. I haven't received any calls that it didn't work out to their satisfaction. So I'm not saying it's I can't speak to the work. I can just tell you that after I've directed those calls to the people responsible.
Since they're private roads, it's the individual of that house or that association, that road association, that have to fight their own fight.
On private roads, that's my understanding.
85% of the roads are private, probably.
More than that, yeah.
I can tell you, I spoke with the contractor,
Yeah.
because that repair is directly in front of my driveway.
Yeah.
And they came back the next day to fix something they missed.
Okay.
So, I mean,
No, I'm
I
just
think
saying.
if you take the path that Doug is giving you, where he's telling you that there's a contact you can reach out to.
Well, we don't know who does the private roads, we really don't know. Did you guys hire the guy?
No, this is National Grid doing it.
Well, National Grid did that one.
Yeah, when they were there doing the work, I just happened to be there.
And they patched it, National Grid patched it.
Well, because they saw the
Yeah,
trucks, it's not
it's their
National
contract,
Grid.
it's their
it's
contract.
their
Yeah,
contract.
they subbed it out.
Yeah.
Usually ask one.
Asplin.
Yeah, Asplin, okay, okay. Sometimes they do good work and sometimes they do lousy work. And, people pay $35,000, $40,000 for a road, they shouldn't get the road back in worse shape than before the patch. I agree, it's a great.
No, I agree, and that's why I would say if you have any issues, I give you my card now. And so.
No, I know where you are. You should go there.
Use the village as a vehicle to, fight on your behalf.
I believe I had heard one road that National Grid did not do the repairs, but they agreed to pay 50% to redo the road, because the road was going to be redone anyway. But then they came in and did their work, and they agreed to pay 50%.
I think it was a very valid point, so man happened to be in from your house, so you knew what.
I should have knocked on my door.
I saw the crowd here, I had to stop.
John?
Yes. Sean Taylor on Adams Avenue. First of all, welcome back to the mayor's spot. I know you're gonna do a great job. I think we're on the board together, and Michael, welcome. I have two things that I just want to flag, help encourage you guys to keep your eyes on. One of the things that you're probably well aware of is that the state is trying to take over local zoning. There's been a big disaster in Bayville. We need to be on top of this and not reactive but proactive. Reach out to all of our, encouraging you to get ahead of this before it happens. They've done it in incremental steps. Right now it's within a certain distance from rail transit. We have the state has an override on local zoning. As we all know, the state, you give them an inch, they take a mile. Now it's a half a mile, soon it will be 10 miles, and that will put us within what this valley. The second thing to be aware of, which could have a big impact in Bayville, is that a lot of big corporations are buying homes, especially starter homes. Hundreds of thousands of them have been bought, and that is because they want to rent them and they want to control the real estate, long-term investment. They have a million reasons to buy these homes. They turn them in, they don't maintain them, they turn them into rentals. And rental properties are not as valuable as properties that are lived in by the owners. So it's something that could affect Bayville in a big way. The state and the federal government in many places are looking to ban these sales. Other municipalities have outright banned them. So, and they set a threshold for companies more than $150 million in assets. They don't even allow them to, buy houses. Those are the only two pieces of advice I can offer at this point. Good luck, everybody. Hope you have a great day.
Thank you. So with that, does anybody else have any questions? Want to say anything? Got it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to ask this. Tommy Brazil, CA Slope Road. You got the name, Brazil?
Gracias.
Am I allowed to ask what the status of the supervisor of highway position is? Is that something I'm allowed to ask?
Well, right. I don't know, yeah, you can ask any question you wish.
Is there one at this point? Is there a supervisor?
Supervisor currently has been suspended.
Okay.
And there's basically a hearing on Friday to determine his status.
Okay. I was just wondering if there was a position open and if it was going to be public or like a public opening or within.
We have to wait to see what the result is on Friday.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, Chris.
All right, do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Yes.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.